So today I'm actually going to be doing a review video and first time startup of our soft start kit that I installed on our 3-ton AC compressor. And just to show you, so here are the specs for our compressor right here. As you can see, where is it? Right here, the lock rotor amps is 96 amps. Okay, and one of the things that is an issue with our 9000 7250 running watt Predator generator is when I'm running it off of natural gas, sometimes the AC compressor doesn't kick on. It just doesn't have enough power. So on gasoline it's fine, it doesn't have an issue with that, but I want to be able to run our AC when it's on natural gas. So I had to install this soft start kit, which I'm going to show you right here. This Micro Air soft start kit. Okay, so I've already gone through the 5 learning processes. So right now, I think at the beginning, without any kind of hard or soft start kit, the amps was 57.1 amps. I originally had a hard start kit installed on here, which that brought it down to, I believe it was 37.1 amps. And then once I installed the soft start kit here, it brought it down to, I think it was, on my clamp meter, it was around 20.1 amps. So I mean, it actually really did work, and it does sound quieter when it starts up, as well as the fan turns on first, runs for, I don't know, maybe 5-10 seconds, and then the compressor kicks on. So it definitely does exactly what it's supposed to do. But the real test, which is what I'm going to be doing today, testing to see if we'll be able to run it using natural gas. There's my natural gas line there to our generator. Okay, so what I'm about to show you now is the max amps for both when the fan turns on as well as the compressor. As you can see, I have my clamp meter connected to one of the hot wires coming into the unit. I'm going to go ahead and supply power and just watch the meter there. So there's the fan, 4.9 amps, and then there's the compressor, 23.0 amps. And I thought I'd just show you this too. So there you see the actual running amps. So it usually hovers around 14 to 15 amps. Alright, so here's our generator. This is a gent tent that we have when we're using outside, that we can store it outside when we're waiting for, you know, some kind of weather event coming. And, you know, I usually set it up before that event gets here, even if it's a day before. And this protects the entire unit, you know, from rain, snow, wind, all that kind of stuff. And what I'm going to be removing this storage apron, which is this bottom piece here, and then I'm going to go ahead and start the generator on natural gas, and then I'm going to take you in the house and turn on the transfer switch, and I'm going to see if it actually works. So as you can see, 9,000 starting watt, 7250 running watts generator. Okay, and this is the tri-fuel kit that I installed, which really works really well. I highly recommend it to anyone. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to turn on the gas first here, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn on the gas here. I don't have my tripod, so I'm actually doing this with my hand. But I'm going to go ahead, got to prime it in the back. Then I'm going to go ahead and get it started. Alright, so let's head in the house. Okay, so as you can see, the air conditioning is on, and I'm actually going to bump it down to 70. Okay, so let me just quickly show you our setup, which it took me like 2 years to build this system, to perfect it. You know, we didn't start off with all of this stuff, but right here we have our EcoFlow Delta Pro. We only have just this main unit only. All right, we have it connected using the 30 amp RV plug, and then 2 of the 120 volt outlets on here. These are rated for 20 amp. This one's rated for 30 amp. This unit only runs 120 volts. It doesn't do 240. I would have to have a second unit like this in order to do 240 volts, which is something we really don't need. We only would need it for the AC. All right, so it's connected using, I have these adapters here that are connected to NEMA what is this? It's a NEMA L1430. Okay, as you can see here. So these are the adapters that I use for it. So each transfer switch has 2 inlets. So we have one in here. This is a 10 circuit, that's a 6 circuit, and each inlet is connected to this changeover switch. Okay, and I have one for both. So basically, when it's on 2, it's on for the power station. So that means that only the inlet in here in the house on both transfer switches are on. When it's in generator power, it'll be on 1, and only the inlet on the outside of the house, which I didn't show you, but on the outside of the house is allowing power to come into the actual transfer switch. It actually works really good. So this allows us to keep the power station always on standby. It's not on now, but it's always ready. So the only thing we have to do is come down here, power it on, and flip on the circuits. Okay, so most of our heavy stuff is being run on the 10 circuit. This was actually the first transfer switch that I had installed, and I liked it so much, and after doing research I found out that under code we can actually have 2 transfer switches as long as they're manual and they're running off of the same power source. So that's why I installed the second one, because up here we needed to add the kids' bedrooms because they wouldn't fit in this one. Okay, so the AC is on right now. So the first thing I got to do is I got to switch this to generator, both of these. Okay. Also, I plugged in my wattage meter here, and this outlet, this is a dedicated 20 amp outlet for the Delta Pro only, so nothing else is on this circuit. I'm going to turn this one on first so that we can observe the hertz as well as the wattage as we switch over to AC power. Okay, so that's going to be this circuit right here. So I'm going to switch this to gen. Okay, and you see the watt meters are moving because it's really not powering anything, but come down here we can see it, right? So it's 122 volts and the hertz is 63, around 62, 63 hertz. Okay, and this can be easily tweaked, which, you know, I may have to do that with this test because this is the first time I've actually was able to really run this test with our AC on the system. Okay, all right, so what I'm going to do now, which I'm on it right here, so D right here is for the furnace. So I'm going to switch that to the off position, which you just heard it, and I'm going to also, this is for the AC, I'm going to switch that off. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want it to start when it hasn't been running, so that it has that surge wattage to really get an idea of, okay, can it really handle it? Normally when we're running our AC, we always have the fan in the on position and not auto, so that way it's constantly circulating the air conditioning doesn't have to turn on and off as much, and it's easier on the motor, the blower motor, because it doesn't have to go from a standstill and speed all the way up. Okay, so I know for a fact that the blower motor pulls about, I don't know, about 1,000 watts to start, and then it goes down to about 800 watts when it's running. Okay, so D is going to be on this side over here. All right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and switch this on. Okay, you see it dropped down to 61 hertz. It's at 62 hertz now, and as you can see, it's running at about 1,000 watts. All right, so now the big test, is it going to be able to start the AC? Okay, so here we go. All right. Okay, so right now it says 61, 62 hertz. The volts is 122.7. And as you can see here, that it's on. Yeah. Now, and you saw I turned it off. So look at that. And really, it didn't even jump really high like before. Even with the hard start kit on natural gas, it went all the way over and it couldn't start it. But you saw when I flipped it up to Gen, you saw where it was. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a full test. I'm going to turn on all of the circuits. So C is the kitchen, outlet, stove, and microwave. Switch that on. E is the dishwasher. I'm not turning that on because we're not even using that. Okay. F is our fridge upstairs. Okay, and you see that jumped a little bit. Oh man, sorry about that. Then G is the kitchen family lights. H, that's the garage. I is the freezer down here, as well as the sump pump and water heater. And then J is the second floor, our master bedroom. Okay. Okay, so if you look over here, you probably can't really see it. My light went out on my phone, but we're at a little over 3,000 watts over on this side. Yeah, about 3,000, maybe 500. And on this one, we're about 2,000. So we're about running about 4,000 or 5,000 watts right now. Okay, and then I'm gonna turn these on up here too. These are the bedrooms and upstairs, and the basement lights, which you just saw flicker. And up here on this transfer switch, it doesn't have any really high wattage items on it except the washer and dryer, which we're not turning that on. And yeah, so see the hertz went down to 58, so I have to make an adjustment outside on this. Okay, the volts is good, but the hertz went down, you know, which that's not good. So I have to make an adjustment, which I'll do that outside. All right, so as you can see, the air compressor is running, so no problem. So the time now is 3:21 p.m. So I'll come back in a couple hours and let you know if there are any problems. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and shut everything off. And there's the time, 6:59 p.m. I don't remember what time it was. I started the test. I think it was 3:40 something or something like that. But anyway, it's been over 3 hours, a little over 3 hours. Right now, the AC compressor is not on, so these are the hertz here. And I turned it down so that it will cut on. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you what the hertz and the, I guess I should show you that, and the volts are that are coming in. Okay, so as you can see, right now my wife and son are taking a shower, so the hot water heater is being used. But that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna come back once the AC compressor turns on, and I'll show you the readings for that. Okay, so the air conditioner compressor came on, and as you can see, here are the readings. They're still all in the green. And if you look up there on the second transfer switch, yeah, we're probably using maybe about 300 watts up there, down here. And then here are the numbers. So here are the hertz, and here are the volts. So not bad at all. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and switch everything back to line mode. And one of the great things about having a transfer switch, outside of not having to do anything in the breaker or the control panel, there is two power sources coming in at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and switch these down. See, as you saw, the meters move. And I'm going to just do this for each one slowly. And then I'm going to go outside and shut off the generator. And then I'll come back and give you my final thoughts. All right. Okay. All right. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I just wanted to share a couple things with you in regards to the Micro-Air Easy Start. The first thing is that installation is really easy. There are a lot of other YouTube videos out there that you can look up to view on how to install it. The only thing that I would say, though, is that I did a little different. Is our unit has the panel here, which is how you access where the internal components are, where you have to, you know, connect the wires and everything like that. And because we actually have a cover for this for in the winter months and everything, it fits really snug. So I couldn't place the Easy Start on this because that was my first thought. Okay, so what I decided to do was mount it down here. Now I didn't permanently mount it because right behind here, as you see the AC lines, they actually go up like right here on this wall. So I was like, oh man, how am I going to fix it? So my idea was to use some dual lock reclosable fastener tape, and which I'll show you that. But as you can, if you look right here, you can actually see it. See it right there. So basically, I'm gonna try to see if I can pull this off without needing it. See? So this is weather resistant, and all I have to do is pull this on and off. And the reason why I had to do that is because, as you see, the AC lines here, when they come to service the unit, they have to hook the gauges up on here. And so this has to be able to be removed so that they can get to it. And then all I have to do is just fix it back on here like so. And it locks right back into place on the four corners. Okay, so you see, so it's mounted up there, not permanently, but it's enough where it's not gonna, you know, end up like falling off or anything like that. And here's that dual locking reclosable fastener tape that I was telling you about. This is actually not the color that I use. This is a new pack here. I actually used a clear/white tape, and like I said, it works really good, and it's very strong too. So you know, this is actually really good, not only for this application, but you know, I find out that I'm going to use this in other things around the house. Okay, now the other thing is the status indicator lights, which you're not going to see them now because the unit is not on. This does not have power going through it when the compressor is off. So this is only on when the thermostat calls for cooling in the house, and then once it does, power goes through here and then it does its thing. So you can't connect the app to this when the AC is not running. Okay, when the compressor is not running, you're not going to be able to connect to this. And then also this does have Bluetooth, which it was pretty easy to set up. The only thing is that the range is only about 15 feet. So like when I'm in the house, I literally have to be at the back door in order for it to connect to the Easy Start. So probably about 15, maybe 20 feet. Okay, and here's the installation tip. So this connector right here, this is a 1/2-inch NPT nylon core grip cable glands, and it's like really snug. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to go a size up. So I would do, if I was doing this again, I would use a 3/4 inch in size for this, and I'll put a link in the description for all of these different items that I used and showed you in the video, so that way, you know, it'll be easier for you to, you know, find everything it is that you need. Okay, so here I took a screenshot of the app, and just to kind of give you an idea of what it is that you can, the information that it gives you. So remember, all of this is only when the AC compressor is actually on. So you won't be able to get into the app if it's not running. So as of right now, our AC is not running, so that's why I did a screenshot, you know, just so I could show you. So it gives you live data, and as you can see here, it refreshes every 5 seconds. Okay, so there's the line frequency, live current, you know, that's the actual current, the running watts, or the running amps rather, and then the peak amps, which I'm not sure if this is actually correct or not, because this is actually higher than when I put my clamp meter on one of the hot wires on the unit when I was, you know, originally setting this up doing the learn starts, which I'll show you my numbers that I have, because like right now the peak wattage as far as the inrush is like 20.8 amps or something like that. So I'm not quite sure why this one is high like this. And then this is right here is a total number of starts. And the 2 faults down here, that was when I was testing the system out, and I turned on, I think, the microwave, and I believe I had all the lights on in the garage and then opened the garage door, and so it bogged the generator down. So that's where those 2 fault codes came from. But then down here you have all of these other options: relearn, diagnose, fault, which right here, this doesn't give you what the faults were. It just has options of what you want the system to look for, as far as to let you know if there was an issue or something like that. So the app is like really nice. I just wish that it would give more information about the fault codes. Okay, so here are my numbers here. So the lock rotor amps, the LRA, without a hard or soft start, because originally I did have a hard start on here, and with the hard start I could start the unit would start on gasoline on our generator, but with natural gas it was hit or miss. Not quite sure why, but at that point, without either one, it was 57.1 amps. Okay, with the hard start that I had on there originally, the LRA was 37.1 amps. And then once I did all of the 5 learns on the soft start, the final number for the LRA was 20.8 amps. Okay, and then over here, this is what the amps were with, each one of the 5 learning starts. So it actually worked really good. I was impressed. Yeah, I was really impressed with it. So here are my final thoughts about the Micro Air Easy Start Soft Start. And I do have some notes here, so I'm going to be periodically looking down just to make sure that I covered everything. So I really like the product. It is doing exactly what it's advertised. It brought the lock rotor amps, the LRA, down from 57.1 amps without the easy start, without a hard start on our unit, all the way down to 20.8 amps, which allows us to be able to run our air conditioner on our natural gas generator. So now I don't have to worry about having to use gasoline, because before I had to use gasoline in order to have that extra power in order to start the compressor. So this, I'm actually really happy with that. Also, with our unit being 25 years old, which we haven't had any issues or anything like that, I haven't noticed any performance issues since installing the Easy Start. It works very well. There is some delay when it comes to it being turned on, but I think that's just because that's just the way that the Easy Start works. It does allow the fan to start first, gets that up to speed, and then it turns on the compressor after that. The compressor is a little quieter when using the Easy Start, but once it's running, to me it still sounds the same. I didn't have a decibel meter to measure before installing the Easy Start, and then after installing it, to really be able to tell that. But to me, it does still sound the same once it's up and running. It doesn't sound that much quieter, but definitely when it starts up at first, it's definitely much quieter. Another thing is installation was really easy. There are no installation instructions included in the packaging, so what you're going to have to do, they have like QR codes on some paperwork that they sent with the Easy Start, and what you do is you'll scan it with your phone, and then you can look up on their database either your unit specific, or if you don't see your unit in the list, then what you're going to do is you're going to use your basic excuse me, installation instructions. So like you see where I wrote my notes at here, this is actually a printout of what I needed in order to do the installation on our particular unit. So the instructions are very detailed, and if you can install or change out a wall outlet, you should be able to install this pretty easily. And then there's also lots of helpful YouTube installation videos that actually show how to go about installing this to your particular unit. Let's see, what else did I have here? Oh yeah, the app. I do like the app. It's very helpful. The only two downsides that I have is that the app is only working when the Easy Start is actually on, which means that's when the compressor is running. Once the compressor is off, it disconnects from the Easy Start, and you won't be able to pull up any information. But it does save everything, so that's a good thing. The other thing is that, as I had mentioned earlier in the video, the fault codes, it just tells you that how many faults there are. It doesn't give you details as to what those faults are, which in my opinion that would be much helpful, because it'll help you to kind of diagnose what actually happened. So for example, if we had a power outage and the AC was running and it's shut off, it's probably going to throw a fault code. But if we weren't at home and once we got back home, the power was back on and restored, then I'll look at that and say, oh, there's a fault code there. I wouldn't know why. So I think they need to kind of update the app and make it where we can pull a little more information. I don't know if they can do that. Yeah, I would suspect so, but those are the only two issues that right now that I have come across with the app. Final few things. So buying the Easy Start and installing it is much cheaper than having to buy separate air conditioning window units, because you don't have to worry about the hassle of taking the window units out of storage and then placing them in windows in certain parts of your home. Whereas with the Easy Start, you just install that, you can run your AC off of your generator, if your generator is big enough. So it definitely pays for itself in that sense, because your entire house will be cool. Everyone doesn't have to be in certain rooms, and you pretty much are going to be operating as if you were receiving utility power in your home. The only difference is that it's running off of a generator. So yeah, it's definitely worth it. And then the other thing is it does prolong the life of your AC compressor and the unit itself. Now, it does not save you any, it's not going to save you any money as far as energy usage, because remember, the purpose of it is to prevent that inrush amperage, so that you can use a generator to start the AC compressor, so that you can, in the time of a power outage, so that way you don't have to worry about not having your AC. So this is not going to save you money on your electric bill. It would have been nice if it would have, but it doesn't. Once the compressor is running, it's using the same amount of amps as it would have been if you didn't have a hard or soft start kit installed on it. So yeah, install it. Your family will love it. You won't regret it. If you guys have any questions, if you have any concerns, you can just post them down in the comments. I love to hear back from you. And as always, you guys have yourself a blessed day and be a blessing to someone else.